Hello YouTube, this is Sotix here, and this is RimWorld. It's a casual, fun, survival, colony building game where you have to mine, collect, gather, hunt, and make sure that your colonists are happy. So I've been playing this game for a while now, and I've noticed that it has a pretty deep learning curve. Also, the tutorial for this game is not comprehensive, but this game is still in alpha though. So I've been searching for a tutorial online. I've found a couple that were decent, but there was a big shortage of tutorials online. So I've decided to do a beginner's guide and tutorial for this game. So let's get down to business here. First thing you need to do is collect the resources from the crash place. Sometimes you'll find medical supplies, sometimes some food, some wood, some steel. So first of all, you need to have a stockpile zone created so your colonists collect those supplies and drop them there. So I'm gonna make a quick one here with a pretty decent size. So as you can see here, some supplies have an X on them, which means do not collect. So I'm removing that X and allowing my colonists to collect the supplies, and automatically they're gonna take them, drop them in the stockpile zone, as you see here. This here is the work priority menu. You can give each of your colonists a specific list of jobs that they are supposed to do, and you can remove also jobs that you don't want them to do depending on their skill sets. So you need to be thinking survival here, and in most survival situations the most important two things are shelter and food. So I'm building a small shelter here for my colonists using the order menu and making sure it's made of wood, since wood is easier to get a hold of. Now I'm making a growing field so they can grow some plants, and you can grow potatoes, you can grow corn, rice, and you can change that by clicking on the area and changing the type of plant. A good tip is to open the work menu and make sure that each job has at least one colonist with a check on it. So most jobs have someone to work with. So nighttime is coming now, but things look pretty good. Shelter is already built, growing fields are done. Now let your colonists take a rest from the long day's work, and we'll look forward for the next day. So you can see here, I'm directly clicking on the trees and clicking on chop wood, then prioritizing one of my colonists to do that job. So this game has a weather system that affects everything from colonists to the supplies. So my supply area is not protected well, and I need to build a shelter for it. Again, made from wood. So that's what I'm doing right now. Another good tip is to check on your colonists' health and mood from time to time, as this changes every once in a while, and you need to check up their needs, their mood, and make sure they're pretty happy. Otherwise, they're gonna become crazy. And to prevent them from getting crazy, they have to have fun and joy. So I'm building them a horseshoe game to enjoy here. The restrict menu is very important here. You can control how many hours you want your colonists to sleep, how many hours to work, how many hours for joy, or you can pretty much keep it at anything and they'll do some work depending on their mood. There are different kinds of materials in this game, and by clicking on it you can see what kind of material it is. Right now I was clicking on steel since I'm low on steel, so that my colonists can mine some steel and some slate and also some trees. As you can see here, my stockpile zone is filling up pretty quickly. You can always build another one, 2 or 3, depending on your needs. So this here is the colonist menu. You can see his needs, his social, his health, and his character skills. Each one has different ones depending, and you can use them depending on their skills. So this game randomly makes a map, and in this particular case there was like a small shelter next to my colony, so I'm gonna make use of that, build a door, and maybe use it for something in the future. You also need a dumping zone so your colonists can drop unneeded supplies or dead animals or anything. Just make sure it's not very close to your colony. On the left top corner side of the screen, you're gonna see the number of supplies you have. So always make sure, especially with food, that you have an abundant supply. Otherwise your colonists are gonna starve. On the right bottom side of the screen, though, there are some important information too. You can see the time of year and the temperature and the time of day. And while I was explaining that, you saw one of my colonists shooting. I had a hunt order on one of the animals close by, so that colonist was hunting. Here I'm building another dumping zone, which is called Zone 2, and I'm gonna make this only for animal bodies and clear out everything else. So any animal I hunt, they're gonna stockpile it here, close to the colony. A lot of weird looking creatures sleeping here, but never mind. So now that we got the basics covered, with shelter available, food available, now we're gonna take it a step more to the advanced level, and we're gonna build a shelter that we will have our colonists cook, create tools, simple weapons, and maybe some clothes. So this shelter is for that. Side note, sometimes raiders gonna come and try to steal supplies from you, so you will need to protect your colony, have some defenses, some weapons, but I'm gonna explain that in another video, hopefully the next time. I would say that the most important material here is wood. You can build pretty much anything with wood, so make sure you have abundant supply of wood. You can also tame animals and make them help you, but that's a bit advanced, and we'll leave that to another video. So I have a butcher's table selected here, and to give an order for a colonist to butcher an animal, just click on add bill and click on the plus on how many animals you want butchered. So the same thing I did with the butcher's table, I'm clicking here on the cooking oven and adding how many meals I need to be cooked. You can choose from simple meals to fine meals. Your colonists pretty much eat anything. If it gets down to it, they'll eat each other, but you don't want that happening. So cooking good meals will help lift up their mood, give them a better chance at staying sane, if I can put it that way. So I think it's a priority here. So when the colonists go to sleep, I try to think of the next day's work and make sure I put those orders ready at night time, so when morning comes, they go ahead and start that day's work. Also, you need to take a look on the map manually, just look everywhere. Sometimes you'll find different materials close by, sometimes you'll find things you can collect that have been dropped from a spaceship. So it's a good thing to take a look around. So as you can see here, a new colonist has joined our colony. Looks like he doesn't have any clothes. I'm gonna take a quick look on his gear, on his character. What are his strong skills? What is he good at, so I can use him wisely here. This pretty much happens randomly. Sometimes you're lucky, you'll get one soon in the game. Sometimes you'll have to wait a while. Although there's another way you can add to your colonists. If raiders attack you and you knock one of them down, you can have him jailed and try to persuade him to join your colony. Sometimes it'll be successful, other times it won't. So the more colonists you have, the more work you can do per day, and the quicker your colony will grow. Since my new colonist does not have any clothes on, I built a tailoring bench, and here I can make some clothes for him, since the weather affects him by being cold and affects his mood. So that's what I'm doing right here. This pretty much concludes the first tutorial. I think this is long enough and enough information for the first one. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it and it's helpful, and please come back again for the next tutorial where you will see the first raid on our colony.